All right, I want to start by giving all glory, honor, and praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rekah HaKodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles and teachers and wise men. Great millstone that I learned this truth from. Salutations to the elect out there. I want to do a quick lesson and going into, as you can see right here, I'm going to start with this scripture right here in 2nd Esdras 15 and 16. It says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power." And that goes into what? You can link that with Matthew 24 and Matthew 24 and 12. It says what? It says, "Because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold." You see? So you're going to have a lot of lawlessness in these cities. You're going to have a lot of people, going after their own hearts, doing wickedness. Before I play the video, let's get this last precept, and then I'll let the video explain itself. Let's see. And this is what the Lord sees. Let's get it. 10. This is what the Lord Yahweh sees when he looks at the earth. But it's going to get worse and worse. All right, this is Genesis 6 and 5. It says, "And Yahweh saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually." And let's show you what the Lord sees. Let's see. Let's start with this scripture. Wait, not Salakia. Let's start with this video. Salakia. All right, this is the first video.
If you've been getting scam texts like these, it was me. I said that probably means your data's been leaked, and I have all of it.
Right. Want to bring in former FBI intelligence?
It says chilling video shows migrant gang terrorizing apartment complexes. You see? And you're going to have a lot of things like that happening in these cities, in different cities across the America.
Intelligence executive Josh School. Let's just get your initial thoughts about what we saw in Aurora, what we're hearing about in Massachusetts. We know that this is all across the country, but specifically in Aurora, why would the Aurora Police Department be reluctant to say this is a typical gang activity from Train to Aragua?
Well, I think they're looking to substantiate proof in a law enforcement setting for a judicial proceeding. Well, you can highly suspect that it is gang from Venezuela. Until you actually can prove it, they're going to be reluctant to put out a statement. Further, we don't know whether or not there is process underway to actually disrupt conspiracies, which would then be public in court documents.
I see. Okay.
So how bad do you think this is? I mean, obviously we're waiting on confirmation of exact ties to the gang, but you look at that video and wow, is there something happening in that city, in that town? I mean, Aurora, just outside of Denver there, people are terrified.
Yeah, like I just read in 2nd Esdras 15 and 16, "Sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princesses." You see, they're not going to care about the law. These police out here, the authorities, they're not going to care
about what they're seeing. I mean, they're ransacking the Target stores there. Businesses feel targeted. And I've worked the phones this week trying to get people to come on to talk about it. No one there wants to talk about it. Why? They fear they will be targeted by these gangs.
And gangs rely on that fear to keep communities quiet. I saw that Aurora's creating a special task force. There's already task force and gang task forces that can be oriented with federal dollars towards these gangs and to disrupt them. This is hugely concerning when you see that the level of violence and intimidation that's going on. And if law enforcement writ large, which will be required to disrupt this gang, doesn't focus on them, they're going to continue to grow.
There was a chance for the vice presidential nominee on the Republican side, J.D. Vance, to hit the Democrats nominee, Kamala Harris, on this. Watch here.
Kamala Harris let in people who shouldn't be in this country to begin with. Kamala Harris opened the border, suspended deportations on day one, and stopped Donald Trump's Remain in Mexico policy. When Donald Trump is president, we're going to re-implement deportations, re-implement remain in Mexico, and tell people they got to go back where they came from and come through the proper channels.
We know from polling that the economy is the #1 issue, but immigration is right below it. And is from your experience looking across the nation, Colorado's not the only place dealing with this. What are you hearing from other entities?
Well, other entities, you're seeing violence we saw in New York, Louisiana, Miami. The most recent reporting has sex trafficking rings going all the way through Virginia and other states. So again, criminals are going to exploit the border. In order to exploit the border, they have to have relationships with Mexican cartels, which are very powerful. Venezuelan gangs operating in the United States with relationships with Mexican cartels is very concerning for U.S. law enforcement. And when they go into these smaller towns, Aurora is a relatively large, but they're not a major metropolitan city like New York. There has to be federal resources directed to, in order to disrupt this and dismantle this gang before it continues to grow in power.
With your experience with working with gangs and fighting against them, you look at what's happening there in Denver, and reportedly, this gang has green-lighted their members to attack police. I mean, the worst kind of criminal is one who has no fear of repercussions, no fear of breaking the law, and no fear of police even confronting them. How do you fight this? When you're law enforcement, how do you show up and take care of these guys?
Well, first of all, you work in a joint environment where you have state, local, and federal law enforcement working together. You're aware of the threat, so you take huge precautions. But it is concerning that an armed gang would think that they could operate the same way in our country that they did in other countries, where we have reporting of them killing law enforcement that weren't cooperating with the gang. The way you do this is you create the task force, and you operate with Safe Streets task forces to dismantle at the highest level, and that transcends all the way from the start and how they're getting in to when they're here, dismantling them, putting them in jail, and then deporting them.
Yeah, we know who's at the top. He goes by the name Cookie Monster, apparently, and he has a very lengthy rap sheet. And if you're looking for somebody at the top, he apparently is the guy.
Monster indeed. All right, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
You see, they're not going to be able to stop it because it's prophecy. It's going to happen, and it's going to get worse because it's in the Lord's story. Because what? It's meant to. It's a part of prophecy. You see, there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. You see. They shall not regard their kings nor princesses, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. You see, they're going to feel like they have power over the authority. They're not going to listen to the authority. They're going to do what they want to do. All right, let's play another video, then I'll end the lesson. Here, let's see if I can get to this video. All right, let's see, where is it? I know it's on here somewhere. Let's see. All right, this will be the last one, and then I'll end the lesson. I think. Let's see if it'll play. Oh, these stupid ads.
There are 15 new jobs added to Indeed every second. So how...
Alleged Venezuelan gang activity in Aurora. This week, Aurora has been in the national spotlight as videos have been circulating on social media showing gang members taking over apartments. It's important to note the city nor the Aurora Police Department have confirmed any of those claims. Colorado and federal law enforcement does confirm that the transnational crime organization, Tren de Aragua, are operating in the...
They are investigating criminal activity. We are actively investigating criminal activity that's happening and listening to them so that we can learn anything that we're missing. What are we missing, and actually find out what exactly is going on. Governor Jared Polis spoke with CNN, saying the state is ready to step in at a moment's notice in Aurora if needed, and adding that the state takes these kinds of threats very seriously. But he says Aurora officials have not raised that alarm.
So all we await is a call from Aurora saying there's any building in the control of any gang, and we are ready to help take it back. That call has not happened because Aurora Police does not currently believe, or they haven't told us, that there's any buildings in control of gangs.
Aurora's mayor.
Well, thank you, Adria. This is obviously something that even presidential candidates are talking about in connection to a shooting at the Nome Street Apartments that the city previously shut down.
And you see, lawlessness is going to increase.